Hey guys, LevelCap here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. DICE fixed the stuttering issue plaguing Battlefield 1 since the Apocalypse launch, sort of anyway. Their solution was rebalancing the service assignments so you're not making as much progress for a bunch of them at once. The reward system was apparently too overloaded by the new assignments added in Apocalypse, which is kind of ironic considering they unlock the Affliction specializations. Some stuttering issues, particularly on the new maps, are still present, unfortunately. The fly down animation when spawning hangs for a split second on the new maps, and some users are reporting worse performance overall since the stutter fix was released. As for the next Battlefield game, a supposed leak has been making the rounds this week. The leak includes a potential screenshot of the game's title screen. While many news outlets are supporting the leak as real, it looks suspicious at best. The leak claims Battlefield 2018 will be called Battlefield World War II, has a German campaign with co-op support, and so far there are 3 playable maps that are about 20% complete. The leak also claims a D-Day map will be playable at launch. Overall, the leak is highly suspicious. The title screen looks slapped together in Photoshop, and the other claims have no supporting evidence. DICE did recently confirm that work has begun on the official reveal trailer for the game, but they haven't confirmed anything beyond that. A World War II setting does make sense though, given the speculation so far. PUBG Corp have not released many major performance patches for PUBG on the PC since its 1.0 launch in December. Fortunately, it seems like Nvidia have made some progress towards optimizing their GPU drivers for the game. The latest drivers improve FPS by 3 to 7% depending on the GPU. This is not a major improvement by any stretch, but at least it's something. PUBG Corp is releasing an updated 2018 development roadmap sometime very soon. They've promised a new map and further optimizations will be coming in the next few months. All that said, the new anti-cheat system and ping lock added to the game recently seem to be improving the general player experience. Cheating seems to be less common now and the ping lock has been relatively effective. Be wary though, as false positives have been reported. On Xbox One, progress has been pretty steady. The latest update added the same pre-match optimization that the PC version received recently, as well as many bug fixes and some performance improvements. FORTNITE also got a pretty big patch on console this week. Players can now select a 60 FPS mode that uses dynamic resolution scaling. The result is a fairly stable 60 FPS lock. Players on the base Xbox One and PS4 hardware will see the biggest dip in resolution, but the trade-off for high FPS is more than worth it. The latest patch for all platforms also includes a new weapon, the hunting rifle, and several balance adjustments. H1Z1 is finally out of Steam's early access program. The move comes just a week after media outlets reported that the game had lost 91% of its player base since July of last year. The 1.0 release includes a new cars-only battle royale mode called Auto Royale. The devs also plan on releasing a revamped version of a fan favorite map from the game's early days at some point in the near future. Escape from Tarkov's developers have big plans for the game in 2018. They just released their 2018 roadmap and it includes a lot of what the community has been asking for. Development will be heavily focused on optimizing the game's performance and getting rid of any game-breaking bugs. The YouTube channel Battle Nonsense recently did a video showing Tarkov suffered from an input delay of several hundred milliseconds, which is much worse than any game he's ever tested. The developers are working on a fix for issues like this, in particular for release with the game's open beta. A follow-up to the 2015's sci-fi MMO shooter Defiance is coming out later this year. Called Defiance 2050, it will be free to play and available in closed beta sometime soon. The details are scarce, but it looks like players can expect improved visuals and the return of the core features from the original game. The sci-fi co-op shooter Deep Rock Galactic has launched on Steam Early Access. It offers 4-player co-op, 4 unique classes, fully destructible environments, procedural caves, and more. User reviews seem generally positive, with most of the negative ones focusing on lack of content and bugs. That is generally to be expected with early access titles these days, and many of them can actually still be quite fun even with the bugs. Developers that have previously worked on the BioShock and Dishonored franchises formed a new studio recently. Their first game is called The Blackout Club. It's a co-op horror mystery game set for release on all major platforms early next year. The teaser trailer doesn't give away much in terms of the story or gameplay, but it does look interesting. The developers of the classic puzzle game Myst have a new VR title in development that looks pretty impressive. Called FIRMAMENT, it looks like another puzzle-based narrative game similar to Myst and other puzzle games like The Witness and the Talos Principle. No release date was revealed in the trailer. David Cage's next game, Detroit: Become Human, finally has a release date. It will release on May 25th for the PS4. Cage previously directed the cult classic Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain. Trailers for the game have been a mixed bag of potentially incredible stuff mixed in with boring characters and cliché story elements. The last game Cage directed, Beyond Two Souls, received very mixed reactions. 2018 might be the year of old school FPS revival games. First Dusk and now Ion Maiden. Available in Steam Early Access, Ion Maiden was built using the Duke Nukem 3D's build engine from the 90s. Fans of the brutal Doom mod will feel right at home with Ion Maiden. Blizzard have announced a new hero coming to Overwatch soon. Brigitte is a melee support hero that can shield herself, heal teammates, and buff nearby allies with armor. She's currently available on the game's PTR test server. CRYTEK's CEO and founder Savat Yerli is stepping down. He will continue to serve as a company advisor and is being replaced by his two brothers who will share the CEO title. Yerli's departure comes at a weird time for CRYTEK. They seem to have finally gotten things together recently. In 2014, news broke that CRYTEK couldn't afford to pay their employees. They were nearly shut down before Amazon invested in the company as part of a deal allowing them to use CRYTEK's CryEngine as a basis for their own lumberyard engine. CRYTEK then closed a handful of their studios and sold one to Sega. Since then, things seem to have been going pretty well for the company. Their latest game, the competitive FPS Hunt Showdown, seems like it has a very bright future. CRYTEK is currently suing Star Citizen's developers for copyright infringement and breach of contract. How that pans out could have a huge impact on both companies. In our final story this week, the regulatory body that controls game ratings, the ESRB, is adding labeling for games that specifies if a game has microtransactions. This comes after months of controversy surrounding loot boxes and microtransactions in a variety of games. The labeling doesn't specifically call out loot boxes, and it's unclear how effective ESRB ratings even are. Since loot boxes' success is basically because they're emulating a gambling-like system, the ESRB rating affecting all microtransactions does not signify loot boxes specifically, and thus will probably be ignored in general. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. Let me know what you guys thought were the most interesting stories, or if there's any we missed. And I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.